Hi guys, Richard Parker here, property developer. So I'm outside the Triumph factory, Triumph Motorcycles. I'm just about to go on the factory tour. I've driven up this morning from just outside Chelmsford. It's taken me about 2.5 hours because obviously the traffic. So you may wonder, why am I mentioning this in terms of turning your car into university? Well, obviously I've spent about 2.5 hours in the car. And that could generally be dead time. I know some of you might think, well, it's really great that you know, you can enjoy music, or even worse, you can listen to the news and hear about Brexit. But I really see that travel time as valuable time in terms of education. So I've been listening to podcasts in the car. Been listening to some excerpts of Audible books that I'm currently listening to. So I really see as travel time now as really a time to do some education and really not see it as dead time. So wherever I travel now, I actually am always listening to podcasts and to Audible books. I think it's something that's really important that you make use of all your time that you possibly can. I'll be covering a bit more detail about how I go into that in the moment, but right now I'm just about to go into the factory. I'm really looking forward to this. If they let me film, I'll add some elements of that onto this post. If not, I'll be talking about it after. So guys, how do you turn your car into university? So, you know, I'm nearly home now after being at the Triumph factory, which was brilliant. So how do you turn your car into university? Well, there's a number of ways that's really easy to do that. First thing is join Audible. So Audible is an Amazon subscription service. It's just under £8 a month, and that means you can access books that are spoken books. So while you're driving along, you can listen to books and stories. I tend to listen to autobiographies, things like Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger, really inspirational book, by the way. And there's lots of other books out there that you can listen to, really good, really interesting. Another thing you've got to do is you need to sign up to podcasts. Now, podcasts are free, and there's absolutely loads of them out there that you can listen to. Interesting fact, for example, in America, most podcasts in America are for entertainment purposes. Most of the podcasts in Japan are all about self-help and self-improvement, and most of them are actually subscription, which is a really interesting thing. So, okay, how do you get to podcasts? So, I've got an iPhone, just to show you very quickly. So there's a button just at the top here, yeah? That is for podcasts, and what you would do, you click on that, and then that allows you to go in and search for various kinds of podcasts, whatever your interested subject. So it might be business, could be triathlons, anything like that, and you simply click on that and you can download it onto your phone. I've got a Ford Kuga here, and the really good thing about that is it allows me to sync to my phone, so then I can just listen to them coming through my car. The other really important thing, and this is top secret, but I find it really useful, is when you're driving along, you know, you often get an idea or you hear something and you think that is absolutely brilliant. So what I'm going to suggest that you need to do is you need to get one of these, and they're really cheap. This is just a voice tracker, voice recorder. I think it's about £20 again. But when you're driving along, often you go, oh, that's really interesting, I must remember that. And of course, then you get home or something like that, and you go, now what was that thing I was listening to? And you've completely forgot. Obviously, while you're driving, you can't stop, and you know, often you can't stop and make a note of something. So what I do is I simply switch this on. So it's switched on, and then press the record button, and there you can see the record button's on, no problem. And I simply make a voice message, just like I'm doing on this podcast post now. Record my message, finish the message, and there I have it. I've got it in the recorder so I won't forget it. And then what I do, I get home, simply listen to all the messages I've recorded and make a note of them in my book, so that I can follow them up after. Now, in another interesting fact, when you're driving, and often you'll zone out to a certain extent, and you'll get 5 miles down the road and you'll go, crikey, how did I get here? The reason for that is when you're doing a task like, say, motorway driving or a standard drive that you're used to, your brain goes into a theta state. So your brain starts generating theta waves, or is that in that theta state. Now, when you're in that theta state, you actually get more creative, and it's, you know, often you're driving along and you think you're not thinking about anything particular, you're just doing a task, driving, and then you suddenly realise that, wow, I've had a really good idea about something that's just in the back of your mind. That happens when you're in this theta state. So that's why it's so good to listen to audible books or podcasts while you're driving. So as an example, I'm nearly home after being at the Triumph factory today. I think I've had about 20 ideas that are either business ideas or things that I want to follow up on, things that I've listened to on podcasts, things that I've been listening to on books. That's the real power of when you're driving along in that state. So that, guys, is a really simple take on how to turn your car into university. I was driving today for about 8 hours, got loads and loads of ideas, and I'm going to follow up on them when I get indoors and make lots of notes. Really simple, highly recommend it. But this, you know, a voice recorder really is the most important thing, because it's so easy just to jot those thoughts down as you're driving along, or obviously rather when you stop safely, I should say. You can record them and you've got them there, and you won't have to think, now what was that thing when I get home? So that's very simply, guys, how I turn my car into university. You can massively increase your period of learning. Just think, if you're doing 2 hours driving per day on your own, 2 hours, multiply that by the number of days that you're driving to and from work. Just think of that learning that you're achieving, rather than, say, listening to the radio and shouting at the news because someone wants Brexit or someone doesn't want Brexit. So put it to good use, and thanks very much, guys, for listening again, and I'll speak to you again soon.